everyone, it's Nicole, and today I'm here to talk about stenciled backgrounds. We're going to make this fun page using a stencil and some ink. So today I'm going to use distress ink in this new speckled egg color, as well as a stencil here I have from Vicky Bouton, and I have a ink blending tool and a couple scraps of cardstock that actually almost make up a full page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lie this stencil down and just start to lightly rub some distress ink over top. I decided, as I should have in the beginning, is to kind of put some washi tape down to hold my stencil in place. If you're worried about it wiggling a lot, you can do that. It's really easy. And then I'm just adding little bits of the ink through the stencil. I don't want to completely make a square or rectangle of this. I really want it to be kind of sporadic and a bit artsy. So you can see there I just did parts of the design and not the complete whole thing. And then do that also on this lower left side of the page. Similarly, just adding kind of like a random little bit. I thought about doing a third section on the bottom, but thought, no, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I kind of liked how it was turning out, so I've left it. So now I kind of have these two pieces of paper. I need to finish them off, and I realized I wanted to add some droplets in that same color to the page. So I've rubbed my ink onto an acrylic sheet here and added a little bit of water, and I'm just lightly adding taps on my background with my paintbrush. If you use a round paintbrush, you'll get nice round marks. So I do recommend you kind of buy a round head paintbrush for that. I realized I didn't let it sit long enough and I removed a lot of the actual color. So I'm going to go ahead and just repeat the same thing again, adding a few more droplets. And I'm going to let that sit for an extra minute or two this time and not wipe it away on the large sheet quite as quickly. So I'm going to let that sink in. Because it is water, obviously it can make your paper warp. So you want to really be careful you don't let it sit too long or you don't add a lot of water. This is normal textured cardstock, so it will warp. So you want to be careful with that. Now I'm trying to piece back together my two sheets of cardstock to make a 12 by 12 size sheet. And so I just have like an old mat from my silhouette machine to use as a marking for 12 inches. And then I'm going to add some pattern paper here by Crate Paper to kind of just fill in and make it a 12 by 12 page. I'm going to make the strip a little bit thinner. And then I'm going to add that little white strip back on the side. So this, if you don't have full sheet of 12 by 12, you can very easily piece a piece back together in no time with your scraps. So I'm just going to trim this down much thinner than I thought I would need in the first place. And I like that torn edge kind of overlapping the stenciled background. And then I want to have that extra stenciled area there just on the right, kind of just peeking through. So now I'm going to go ahead, I think I'm going to put my photo here on the left side. I put some foam adhesive to the back of that, and I have a really pretty pack here of Heidi Swap embellishments that I'm going to use. These are actually, what's the name of the collection? I'm not really sure, to be honest, but it's really, really pretty. And I also have a pack of stickers and photo corners, as well as planner stickers that all coordinate. I'm going to use that for my page. So here I have the planner stickers that I'm sorting through to kind of find out what items I'd like. I want to add some other pieces of color that match with the pattern paper that I've selected. I'm going to use these super big, awesome yellow photo corners from the planner sticker pack to kind of create a bit of a border for my photo. And then I know I want to use a whole bunch of labels and a few die cuts here on my page. So what I'm going to do first is just add some stitching before I start putting any embellishments on. So I'm going to add some stitching to that row there, and then my machine messed up on me and kind of wrecked my stitching. So I'm just going to take a thin piece of yellow paper that matches those photo corners and add that over top and stitch it down. And you can see there that I've actually stitched a bit of a frame around those photo corners just to make a nice little rectangle to peek around the outer edge of my photo. So a little tiny bit of stitching on my page, and I thought I would do a little bit more, but said no, that was enough. So now I'm going to stick my photo down, and I do like adding foam adhesive behind it so I can kind of tuck embellishments in and underneath it much easier than kind of tape runnering it down and then lifting it up all the time. So my next thought with this project is I wanted to add some of these labels that are in the ephemera pack, as well as these fun stickers and photo corners that are, I think, intended for planners, but I think they're pretty awesome for a scrapbook page. So I'm going to add a few of those kind of quotes to some of these labels that are in the ephemera pack. And then I'm going to add some stitching and staples to them just to kind of add a little bit of subtle texture. Just a quick zip through my sewing machine makes quick work of that. So I'm going to sew down a couple of the rows. And then I am going to add foam adhesive to the back of these as well, just to pop them up and give them a little dimension, kind of matching the height of my photo. I'm going to play around a little bit of where I want to put those, but then I really kind of fall in love with these clear planner stickers because they're see-through. They're really cool, and I'm using a white background, so they're really fun to use. So I decided that I was going to use these as a grouping kind of the labels anyway underneath my photo. I decided to use this other kind of paint stroked background clear sticker. So I'm going to use that. That's also from the planner sticker pack, and one of the vellum tags from the ephemera pack. And then I'm going to layer my labels down on the bottom of my photo and tuck a few of the floral die cuts around. Sorry, I got a little low on the camera there. I thought about adding some butterflies and other things like that, but I ended up sticking with just the floral groups for this, adding foam adhesive in behind some of them as best I can. And then I found a few more fun stickers in that planner sticker package that I wanted to use as well. And they're clear, so like when you put them down, they have that cool vellum effect. So I'm going to add another sticker at some point soon, but I'm just kind of playing around with some of those florals to kind of tuck in and join my layers together. So I'm going to lift my photo up slightly and add that die cut underneath, a few little bits of the floral stems too. And then once I have them in place, I add foam adhesive behind them just to kind of keep them where I want them. So now I have a little bit of a glue dot I'm going to stick behind the hole of that vellum because I didn't really put anything there to hold it in place. So that is just going to be enough between that and the sticker that's holding the bottom to keep it where it needs to be. And then I'm just really cutting down some glue dots really small here to use to stick down those other vellum ephemera from the ephemera pack. I have a few more of these words I really want to use, so I'm just really trying to, I love them. I almost want to use a whole page of them. So I'm just trying to figure out where else I want to put them. I decided to do a bit of a cluster here in the top corner. I kind of like some of the vellum words and phrases that are here, so I'm going to go ahead and actually tear the edge really gently of this vellum word quote that's here and just staple it in place to kind of get it where it needs to be. And then I'm going to cover some of that up with the florals, more florals from the ephemera pack. So now that I have that up there, I've kind of decided I want to add a little bit more to that cluster to kind of just balance things out. It really goes well with that stenciled background. It kind of just blends into the softness of the stencil. And you can see how it's kind of almost peeking from the cluster and the layers of paper that's overlapping it. So I decided, maybe I would call this page selfie or hashtag something, but I went with a super fancy title in the end called Me. So what I'll do is, and those letters are from the planner stickers, so they're see-through, again, like translucent. So when you put them down, just be mindful that they need to go over top of something that's a little more, you'll be able to see it really well. So I'm going to add a few more of these stickers here and remove one as well. I didn't like those little strips were winding up, and I ended up moving those up to the top right corner just to kind of make that cluster a little bit larger. And then I will add my title later on. So once I have these kind of stickers in place up there, then I keep kind of keeping them on an angle so it doesn't look quite so perfect. And I'm liking how that's turning out. So this is where I end up with just adding the title Me kind of to fill in that gap above that orange square photo that I have. And these clear floral stickers are really fun to add some dimension very easily onto my page. So I want a couple little black drops just to kind of ground things out a little bit because everything is a little bit soft, and I think the black kind of adds a nice touch. And then I did a big bloops there. You can see above my photo where I got a bit of a black drop there that I didn't want. And I actually removed that later on once it's really dry. I just actually scratched it off with a craft knife really carefully. You can see it's gone. So here's a close-up of that pretty stenciled background. It's just really soft and light, adds a nice pattern paper feel without a lot of actual pattern paper. And I hope you'll be inspired to give this one a try and share your projects on Facebook with us. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.